Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Todd, Director for the Center of Career Development at Eastern University. And today we're going to figure out 5 quick steps to improve your cover letter. So let's get started. The very first thing you want to pay attention to with a cover letter is your opening. If you know the name of the hiring manager, or maybe you've been connected with them already, go ahead and use their name. But for many times, you're not going to know who it is that you're writing the letter to. In that case, Dear Hiring Manager is perfectly appropriate. Something else I see individuals struggle with when it comes to cover letters is their first line. Sometimes they'll say things like, "My name is blank," or "Look no further, you've found the right candidate." Neither of these things is a good way to go. What I would say is that you can start off very simply by saying, "I'm excited to apply for the position of blank." Indicating what job that you're going after is always an important step. As you're thinking about what the cover letter is and how it's different from a resume, um, what's important to keep in mind is that the cover letter is serving a very different purpose. So the role here is not to summarize your resume in a paragraph form. In fact, if you do that, you're really not actually fulfilling the goal of a cover letter, which is to go beyond your work history and also to talk about things that would make you especially well suited for the job. Sometimes those things aren't even related to jobs you've had in the past. Um, a good example of this might be if you're someone who's extremely organized and color codes your entire life. That's something that you can bring up into a cover letter, which in a resume really wouldn't have a good place. A good way to think about this is if you're not sure what it is about you and your past that make you a great option for this particular opportunity, is pretend that you're writing a letter to a friend about why you'd be awesome. Or even do yourself one better, call that friend, record yourself talking about it, and then incorporate some of those ideas into your letter. This is where the elements of details and specifics come in. The third thing you want to do here is show, don't tell, just like your middle school English teacher told you. What happens is in cover letters, people start to make sweeping generalizations about themselves, things like, "I'm great with deadlines," or "I'm really amazing with working with other people." Those things could be true about you, but they're very difficult to quantify. The way in which that you quantify those things in a cover letter is by actually demonstrating that those things are true. So don't say that you are something. Demonstrate how you are that thing through specifics. For example, if you say, "I'm great at working with other people," why not instead talk about how you were running a volunteer program this past summer and how part of your responsibility was to interview incoming applicants and to figure out scheduling, and that your responsibilities included overseeing a, a group of 20 volunteers. Something like that is a way more effective way to talk about how you can incorporate your skills with people rather than just saying that you're good with people. The next thing that you want to consider for the cover letter, sometimes there are circumstances that are not easy to talk about in any other way in the job application. So these things might be, maybe there's something about your candidacy that you need to talk about. Maybe, for example, you live in Pennsylvania and you're applying for a job in California. It would be a smart move to put into your cover letter that right up front that you are from Pennsylvania originally, but that you're planning on moving to California and that you're looking forward to opportunities in that area. Perhaps, on the other hand, that you have a connection that you might want to mention. Sometimes people feel a little bit odd about name dropping. That said, if the individual that you would like to name drop is comfortable with you using their name, using the name of a connection, whether it be a professor, a supervisor, a family friend, whatever the case may be, if you do have a connection to the organization, it's very effective to mention that early on in the letter so that they're aware that there's a deeper reason why that you're going after this opportunity. The other thing that sometimes is important to consider is there anything that might be confusing that you could potentially address? For example, maybe you're in a major that doesn't commonly go after opportunities in that particular field. If that's the case, then you can use the letter to explain a little bit about why you're looking for this particular opportunity. Things like that can really go a long way to demonstrating, number one, your interest in the opportunity, and number two, help to mitigate any confusion that might happen on the hiring manager's end. Finally, when you think about your cover letter, you want to think about your format and your proofing. Your cover letter should ideally be less than a page, but it absolutely should be no more than one. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they don't actually take the time to proof and edit and revise their letters. Read your draft out loud. Have someone else proofread it. Make sure that you're not making a simple mistake. Even things um, like typos or small grammar mistakes can say things about you that maybe you don't want a hiring manager to think about you. Your writing and your communication skills are being evaluated, just as well as your ability to communicate your own effectiveness and in terms of representing yourself and your experience. Reminder here, don't put in big bullet lists here, don't put in images. When you're finally done and your letter is proofed and you're ready to go, save it as a PDF with the employer name. If I had $1 for every time that somebody has told me that they accidentally sent the wrong cover letter to the wrong employer, I'd be a very rich person. So please do yourself a favor and save everything with appropriate names that are easy to track on your end. Finally, we know that cover letters are a really complex and an interesting part of the job application process, and they can be a little bit confusing. So to that end, we want to remind you that you can always make an appointment with the Center for Career Development, or you can email your cover letter for review to careers@eastern.edu. We would be more than happy to be your second set of eyes so that you're making yourself look good on paper. Thanks so much, and we will see you next time.